Your unauthorized structure is coming down today. We issued a warning last week.
Perhaps this cease and desist will clarify the situation.
At 6:12 a.m. on May 3, 2024, I walked down to my dock half awake. The lake air was cold, the boards were slick, and my breath looked like smoke. Then I saw it. A chain-link fence wrapped my dock like a kennel. A brand new padlock hung there, shiny and smug. The wire rattled in the wind, and an orange warning tag slapped the metal like it was trying to yell for help. My coffee smelled burnt, and my stomach dropped anyway. By 9:00 a.m., a certified letter sat on my counter like a brick. HOA fenced my dock over a lien using certified letter, and their settlement sign went on record. They claimed I owed $2,200 in dock fees and said the lien let them lock me out. It's deeded to my lot. Not shared. I read it twice and felt my face go hot, like embarrassment and rage decided to carpool. I tried being normal. I called the board rep listed on the letter. Voicemail. I emailed the HOA president with photos of the fence and the padlock. Nothing. I went to the clubhouse office at noon and knocked until my knuckles hurt. The chair cracked the door and said, "Submit an appeal," then shut it like I was selling something. Two neighbors nearby pretended to check mail and stared at the ground like eye contact cost money. That night, anger came in waves, but I didn't act stupid. I said it out loud, proper channels only. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I printed my deed and the plat map. I wrote down the last month too, 3 surprise security checks, 2 warning emails, and a note taped to my door that said comply. Then I made a timeline, neat and boring, because boring wins. Timeline item 1 April 5 at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. If they wanted a story, I'd give them the one with dates. On May 8 at 1:30 p.m., I went to the county recorder's office. It smelled like toner and old carpet. The clerk slid papers under the glass and asked for my lot number like she'd done it 1,000 times. I asked for every record tied to my property and the shoreline boundary. The file landed with 77 pages, stamped and heavy. The legal description showed the HOA line stopped before the water. My dock was tied to my deed, plain as day. Their lien didn't match the map. I didn't touch the fence. I called the county shoreline office and asked about permits. The woman paused, then said, "A fence that close to the water needs permits." I filed a complaint with photos and dates, then called non-emergency and reported blocked access to deeded property. The officer said, "Keep records and let the process work." It wasn't a pep talk, but it was a plan. Calm became my new hobby, and paperwork was my cardio. The HOA meeting on May 14 at 7:00 p.m. was packed. I walked in with my binder and the plat map rolled under my arm. The HOA president smiled like she'd already won. She said, "Your lien stands." I asked, "What's the permit number for that fence?" She didn't even pause. She said, "We don't need one." And that was the moment she forgot the room wasn't just her stage. The public reaction came fast. Phones came out like popcorn. Someone whispered, "I thought the dock was community." Another whispered back, "He owns it." A guy behind me muttered, "They did this to my cousin with parking fees." My group chat lit up before the meeting even ended. He brought receipts. That boundary line is not what they told us. Are they allowed to lock him out? One neighbor posted a shaky video and wrote, "For once, the board looks nervous." Another typed, "I have letters too, like 3 of them." A third message popped up, "Screenshot everything before it disappears." Even the quiet people started nodding like they'd been waiting to exhale. On May 16 at 10:20 a.m., a county inspector and a deputy walked down to the dock. The inspector measured the posts, checked the setback, and pointed at shoreline rules. He said the fence was unpermitted work in a restricted area and an encroachment on private property. He noted it blocked lawful access and could become debris in a storm. The HOA president tried to smile and said, "It's for safety because of a lien." The deputy cut in, "A lien is not a license to take possession. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted." He asked who ordered the fence, who installed it, and why a private dispute turned into a trespass call. The inspector said a written notice would require removal, and ignoring it could bring penalties. That's when the neighborhood spell snapped, like somebody finally turned the lights on. People stopped shrinking their shoulders. They stood straighter and watched the inspector like he was reading a verdict out loud. The board members stopped talking over everyone, because the room wasn't feeding them anymore. You could feel the bully energy losing oxygen, second by second. A woman who always defended the board went quiet, recording with both hands, lips pressed tight. Another neighbor leaned toward me and whispered, "I'm sorry I didn't speak up before." Someone else asked the deputy how to request incident reports, and when he answered, 3 phones zoomed in like it was the winning lottery number. No new drama, no shouting. Just a room finally realizing it had proof. After that, the aftermath wasn't loud either. It was cold and clean, like paperwork sliding into place. The fence didn't come down that second, but the fear did. People started saving screenshots instead of deleting them. They wrote down dates instead of saying, "I think it was Tuesday." One man brought me 2 photos of the HOA truck by the dock that morning, timestamped. A woman admitted she'd gotten 6 violation letters in 3 months and kept them in a drawer because she felt trapped. Now she wanted copies made. Neighbors started talking in full voices, not hallway whispers. Folks waved at me again. Someone even left a note on my porch that said, "Thanks for standing up," with a coffee gift card tucked under it. The bully didn't vanish, but it couldn't breathe in secret anymore. On May 28, we signed a settlement in a small conference room that smelled like lemon cleaner and cheap pens. The HOA agreed to remove the fence within 48 hours, release the lien, and pay me $4,000 for costs and missed work. They also agreed to stop charging dock fees unless a deed allowed it, and to correct the notes they'd slapped on my account. I walked the signed pages straight to the recorder's counter and had them filed, because paper only matters when it's anchored. 2 days later, I stood on my dock and listened to water instead of chain link. The padlock was gone. The lake was calm. And my binder sat on the table inside, closed, like a finished chapter. If you enjoyed this, hit like, subscribe, and share. Was the HOA wrong? Drop a comment.